Hi Libra, welcome to your love reading for July 2017. I'm working with two decks as usual, but I'm also going to pull some cards for you from the Psychic Tarot for the Heart. And you did have quite a few jumping cards when I was properly shuffling. Let me show you what you have. I think out of all the signs I've done so far, you've had the most jumping cards, so there's a lot of messages for you. And all of these cards jump together. They're from this deck, and the other one is from the Psychic Tarot for the Heart. Okay, so these three tarot cards jump for you together. So you have the King of Pentacles, the Devil, and the Nine of Wands. So they're making a reference here to someone who is an earth sign, male or female, sun, moon, or rising. This person, I believe this was the order in which I saw them. There's something questionable here with the Devil. Of course, this usually means that there's something that could be unhealthy about the relationship. There can be a lot of negative energy, negative thinking. This person may not be for your highest good. There's also the Nine of Wands, which is, kind of like a very, it is a word of caution. And this also means that you feel very protective of yourself when it comes to this person. There's something about this person that I feel like you're kind of picking up on the energy that something may not be for your highest good. With the Nine of Wands, you're trying to protect yourself and you don't want to be hurt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the cards back in the deck and we will see if any of those come up for you. Now, from the other deck, Psychic Tarot for the Heart, you had these messages. Opportunity beckons, simply love, and healing begins. And I believe this was the first card that I saw. So the healing is happening in your love life. Whether this means that you're getting over someone from the past, possibly that earth sign that came up with the Devil. I feel like this is just telling you that it's time for you to start over in the month of July, if that is what you want, if that is what you're determined to do. You also had simply love. So I kind of feel like here they're telling you to just kind of focus on finding, for those who are single, a loving relationship, or for those who are already coupled and you're really going through a difficult time, focus on the love that you share with your partner. Remember, you do have this message of healing begins. But there's also an opportunity here. For singles, this is an opportunity for someone new to come into your life. For those who are already coupled, this is an opportunity for you to start over. Okay, so I'm going to put these away and let's go ahead and start the actual reading. Let's get 9 cards from this deck. This is the love reading for the sign of Libra for July 2017. And you have the Six of Cups, the Queen of Pentacles. So remember that you had the King of Pentacles jump for you, but now you have the Queen. The World. Judgment. The Four of Cups, the Page of Swords, the Three of Swords, interesting, a card in reverse. What is this? You have the Seven of Pentacles, but it's in reverse for you for some bizarre reason. I don't even work with reversals. It's kind of interesting when that happens. Let's go with this one here. You have the Eight of Wands. So the card at the bottom of the deck is going to represent the main energy around your love life for July. And you have the Knight of Swords. So this means, to me, the Knight of Swords represents a lot of movement, a lot of action. This can also represent you or your partner being really impulsive when it comes to your thinking or your actions. So we'll see how that ties in with everything that we see here. We're going to take it one row at a time. Okay, so the first card that came up for you, Libra, is the Six of Cups. So to me, the Six of Cups, it has to do with the past, someone from the past, events from the past, emotions from the past. Now what's interesting here is that you have the Queen of Pentacles. And remember that you did have the King of Pentacles jump for you from this deck when I was properly shuffling, and that came out with, I believe it was a Nine of Wands and the Devil. So kind of like a questionable energy. So I feel like for some of you, you have ties to an earth sign. So that would be Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. You have ties to an earth sign from your past that were like, you're not done yet. And for some of you, I feel like, you know, you can be seeing a lot of new developments in the month of July. It could be that you're making peace. We'll see what message we get from this reading. I feel like there would be a lot of kind of action with this earth sign, whether they're male or female, sun, moon, or rising. I feel like the past is very important for you. I always feel like the first card kind of sets the theme for the entire reading. And for you, it's the Six of Cups, someone from the past, emotions from the past. Now, you also have the World. So the World is the final card of all the majors. And this does represent endings, just kind of natural endings, things playing themselves out naturally. I feel like for some of you, it's hard to say in a general reading. I feel like for some of you, you're finally having closure when it comes to someone from the past. Definitely if there's someone you do not want to see back in your life, then obviously that person's not coming back in. But for some of you, you could be, reliving the past. And that's I see that message here with the World, but also with Judgment, which I'm going to get into in a minute, because this is the ultimate card of returning, especially with what I see right here. So I feel like the World, for a lot of you, this is, something that ended, but, there is kind of like a second chance being given to someone. Whether it's someone that you dumped or it's someone that's taking you back. The World does represent kind of a new cycle in a relationship. And this is someone who's an earth sign. Now you also have Judgment. Like I said, to me, Judgment, this represents second chances, new beginnings. This is something that you thought was dead, and we see kind of a person here in the coffin. We often do in all the decks. Something you thought was dead and gone returns. Now what's interesting is that you have this card, something dead and gone, relationship over, but look what it's surrounded by. It's surrounded by the Six of Cups, which is the past, but also the Three of Swords, which is a card of breakups, divorces, and heartache. So I feel like someone from the past where there was something really painful. It's almost, when you look at this card, this person is being kind of dragged away by their hair, where maybe you lost a person, a relationship ended abruptly, you never got closure, you never knew why, you tried really hard to hold on to them. Like a miracle happens with the Judgment card here. Like the universe gives this person back to you. I feel like the unexpected can happen when it comes to someone from the past, where it was really difficult, really painful, and this person is being given back to you in some way. It's just the message that I'm getting. Now you also have here, you have the Four of Cups. So this does represent a feeling of sadness and feeling like, something's missing from my life. I'm not completely happy. I also feel like for some of you, like someone who's watching this video, it's like it's time for you to give love a second chance. Maybe, you went through something really painful. It's time for you to make a comeback. For some, this could be someone from the past, but for others, it could be that your time alone is over. You're unhappy. You feel unfulfilled. It's time for you to find that second chance with a new person. And it could be this earth sign that I see here. Now you also have the Page of Swords. So I especially feel for those where there is, someone from the past coming back into your life, that there's a need to be honest. Like you really, if you're going to allow someone back into your life, you have to really communicate. And this has been coming up for a lot of the signs, communication. This is a need to be completely honest. So if your heart was completely ripped out of your chest, then that's something that you have to share. And notice how we have the Page of Swords here, and then the next card was the Three of Swords, which is the card of heartbreak. So I feel like here there has to be honest communication. For those who are already coupled, where there is no one from the past coming back into your life. I don't remember if I mentioned that over here, so let me just kind of say what I'm feeling. I feel like there could be, you know, emotions from the past, emotional baggage. If this is not an actual person, this is emotions from the past, issues, things you thought you had healed, but they're resurfacing again. This Queen of Pentacles could definitely be your spouse, male or female. It's time to put an end to that past, the emotional baggage, the negative energy, the fighting. The World, you know, is a really positive card of victory. It means that you're finally graduating, you're moving on to the next phase. And that is being repeated here, the Judgment card, because this is, you know, a rebirth. This is a phoenix rising from the ashes. So a relationship maybe that hit rock bottom, it's making a comeback. And I feel like here, you know, for those who are already coupled, there's a message of unhappiness. Somebody does not feel happy. Somebody feels very unfulfilled. The good news is that it's not hopeless. Not with the Judgment card here. You can definitely respark that relationship, bring it back to life. But there is a need here to be completely honest with yourself and with your partner. Whatever it is that you're feeling. Remember, the main energy, the Knight of Swords, is telling you that in July you can see a lot of things happening, a lot of things changing, and very quickly. Now, the bottom row. So I already mentioned the Three of Swords. This is, you know, a card of breakups, divorces, heartache, sadness, and tears. I feel like for a lot of you, like you've already been through this. I mentioned this row here, which just kind of really got my attention. Someone from the past, you know, a painful breakup, you know, a second chance, a new beginning. You know, the relationship you thought was dead returns. But, you know, it could also be those who are already coupled that, you know, you're going through this. The Three of Swords can also mean that it's just really, you're going through something really painful. Perhaps there's a lot of arguments, disagreements. You don't really know what's happening in your relationship. Just kind of skipping over here, you have the Eight of Wands. So the Eight of Wands, it definitely ties in with the main energy of a lot of new changes and developments. The Eight of Wands is a, you know, a message of finally things turning around for you. Finally something changes, something positive after a time of maybe not really moving forward. So I feel like for a lot of you, you know, this message definitely ties in with the Three of Swords. Maybe you had been in this energy for a long time where there's been fighting, maybe there has been a breakup, time apart. This is telling you that, you know, that is turning around. When you least expect it, that is the message of the Eight of Wands. When you least expect it, something very positive changes. Now, what's interesting here is that you have the Seven of Pentacles in the middle. Now, if it were upright, the Seven of Pentacles does mean that you're being really patient, that you're doing a lot of planning, you're doing a lot of analyzing. You could be kind of exploring your options, but it came out in reverse for you. So I feel like here, you know, somebody, when it comes to, you know, a relationship that's causing you pain, you may feel like you really don't want to do the work. It's just the message that I'm getting. With the you know, with this message upright, you do want to do the work. You're willing to really look at the situation very carefully, study it, do a lot of thinking and planning, and really learn what you can. But it's in reverse. So I feel like someone may feel completely fed up. So I feel like this is what you need to work on, especially if you want to hold on to a relationship. There might be a lot of pain here. I mean, it may be really difficult, but you do have the Eight of Wands saying that things can really change for you. And like I said, with this card, this specific card, things change very suddenly. And the main energy really emphasizing that. The Knight of Swords is a lot of changes happening kind of very, very quickly. So I feel like for those of you where you really want something to work out, you have to be willing to work on it and be really patient. Okay, what other messages are there for the sign of Libra for July 2017? Let's go with this one here. you have, wow, you have the King of Pentacles. So remember that you had the King from this deck, and then the Queen came up. Now you have the King. So they really are screaming earth sign at you. Let's go with this one here. The Knight of Wands. So 2 knights. And the 4 of Pentacles. Okay, so like I said, it just seems like for those of you, who are already coupled, your partner might be this earth sign. Whether it's male or female, sun, moon, or rising, there is an earth sign here that's very significant to you, or they might be in that energy. Now this earth sign came out with some interesting cards. You have the Knight of Wands. So now you have 2 knights in this reading. So this means that there can be a lot, and these knights are very similar even though you have swords and wands. I always say that these knights are very similar because they represent not only movement, but a lot of things changing very quickly. And you already have that energy here with the 8 of Wands. So you might kind of feel that you're in a bad situation, with the 3 of Swords here. And maybe issues coming up from the past. Someone's unhappy with the 4 of Cups. Things can change very quickly with these 2 energies. The Knight of Wands does mean that, this is an energy of feeling really determined, really self-confident, and really passionate about your love life. And I feel, that there's one of you might feel really determined to kind of make things work. The other one, maybe not so much. You have the 4 of Pentacles. The 4 of Pentacles, this is playing it safe. This is just kind of holding on to what you have. This is a very material card. Someone may be even thinking of their financial security instead of their love life and their happiness. So I feel like you have some decisions to make here. I feel like there's definitely a possibility of a lot of movement, a lot of changes, especially for those really kind of painful relationships. I feel like there's a need to be honest. There's a need to take action. There's a need to discuss the past. And for some of you, there could actually be someone from the past coming back into your life. Okay. What other messages are there for the sign of Libra for July 2017? Really? Oh my goodness. The King of Pentacles. So you already have the King of Pentacles. It's right over here. And you also have the Queen. This one here. The Knight of Cups. So another knight. And the World. Again, you already have this card. Where is it? Here. So you have 2 repeating cards. Make that 3. You have the 4 of Pentacles. Okay, so this is probably the most synchronistic reading I've done so far with so many repeating cards. So you have the 4 of Pentacles here, and you have the 4 of Pentacles here. So like I said, this could be the energy, and especially I like this depiction of the 4 of Pentacles because it means, we see the person holding on to the tree. They don't want to let go. They're afraid. Remember that message from the Psychic Tarot, the heart that you had was opportunity. So I feel like there's an opportunity for you, whether, it's saving your existing relationship or meeting somebody new. But for some of you, you may not be open to that. You want to just kind of hold on to the way things are. I feel like you can't keep doing that. Like, it's definitely time for new energy. You have all of these knights, not only that, but you have the World twice. You have all these synchronicities with someone who's an earth sign. I feel like it's the time of playing it safe. It's over. It's over. Or a time of focusing on money, on security, and putting that above your happiness and love. That has to be over as well. Okay, so King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles. So this is probably the biggest synchronicity in this reading. So if you're single, definitely be on the lookout for someone who is an earth sign. This can definitely be your knight in shining armor. This can definitely be your life partner. Again, male or female. Spirit is screaming at you, earth sign. For those who are already coupled, this can definitely be your romantic partner. But I have to mention, because you have the Four of Pentacles also as a repeating card, just bring it over here. The King of Pentacles, if this is not the energy of a person, an earth sign, he's a very, or she is a very material person that only cares about money. Well, not only, but they care a lot about money and material things, creature comforts. That could be standing in the way of your love life if it's you. Or this could be your partner that's doing this. Okay, so lots of synchronicities there, but you also have another Knight. You have the Knight of Cups, but you also have the Knight of Swords, and you have the Knight of Wands. Like I said, all the Knights represent change and movement. And I think the only one that you're missing here is the Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles. You almost have all the Knights. So, like I said, these are definitely urging you to take action when it comes to your love life. Stop waiting around. Nothing's going to happen unless you do something. But the Knight of Cups is, telling you that, there will be positive movement in your love life. This is a knight in shining armor, whether it's male or female. Possibly an earth sign, because that's definitely being repeated for you. You have, the King of Pentacles twice, but you also have the Queen. This jumped for you at the beginning of the reading. There can be somebody that comes and sweeps you off your feet, or you could be doing the sweeping when it comes to someone else. You could be romancing someone. This is positive change in your love life. But this came out with the World. Also a repeating message. It's a major arcana, so that's even more significant. Endings. End what no longer brings you happiness. End whatever is holding you back. This is definitely a time of a new beginning, a new cycle. This is a victory for you. So very, very synchronistic reading for Libra. I just feel like, the most important messages here are someone who's an earth sign, all the Knights that you have, change and movement, but also you kind of pushing towards, doing the work, whether it's working on a relationship or just letting them go. Okay, Libra, I almost forgot, because you had such a long reading, I almost forgot your cards from the Psychic Tarot from the Heart. Okay, so I've already shuffled. Let's see what message comes out for you. This is going to be a longer reading. Probably Virgo is probably going to be mad at you, because they had the most views for June. Okay, let's go with this card. Seek the truth, which is exactly what I was saying. You have to kind of get the truth of what's happening in your love life. What do you really want? What is it that really needs to change? What is it that needs to end? Yeah, it's such a synchronistic reading. That's why I kept talking. Embrace. This card comes up for everybody. Everybody has had this card so far. So it's definitely a message of just kind of, embracing. I feel like for some of you, it's definitely time to embrace the truth. Embrace what you want instead of what you think that you should do when it comes to your relationships. And for some of you, yes, it could be embracing the love that you have with your partner and stop looking at all the differences. It's definitely time to work those things out. Let's see. Reach out. Yes. For some of you, it's just you have to communicate. You have to kind of talk about the things that are bringing you down. What's making you unhappy with the Four of Cups? What is breaking your heart with the Three of Swords? This is definitely time to connect and kind of get to the bottom of the situation here. See the truth. Okay, Libra, this has been your love reading for July 2017. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll speak to you again next month.